Being in the business of chinuch, you realize that the most enduring and powerful lessons of mechanech imparts to his talmidim are those taught by example. He's a role model. Children want to emulate role models, and a teacher is an ideal candidate for that task. Spending much of his or her day with the talmidim, the children naturally look up to and respect the teachers. Role models demonstrate not only what they do, but they also demonstrate by what they do not do, specifically by not speaking during davening. In Tehillim, Dovid HaMelech says, "Lo me'ira b'meira avayna kabe yisudenu." Why should I be afraid of the days of bad, the sins that could trap me? The Gemara in Masechet Avodah Zarah explains this as a reference to the sins a person does inattentively. Avayna she'adam dash ba'aklav. And as Rashi comments there, Avera she'adam dairis b'raglav, without any cheshbon. She'ein chashuvin be'einav. One of the fundamental mitzvahs which people tend to trample on is the mitzvah of tefillah. People have a tendency to speak during the tefillahs because they are neither involved nor connected to their davening. A person may feel that coming to Shul and spending an hour of his precious time there is more than enough. Why should he be further hindered by not able to speak with his fellow mispalim? Some people may view the Shul as some sort of community center to hear about simchas and the latest news, and thus do not treat it with the proper respect, the proper cheshivas. Children, being remarkably perceptive, quickly pick up on all of this. A Rebbe must make every effort to counter that impression. When Talmidim see their Rebbe concentrating on the davening, standing during the Shemona Esrei with reverence, that indicates his connection to the Melech Malchei HaMelachim, listening intently during Chazaras HaShatz, following closely the Kriyas HaTorah. They are given an everlasting impression as to the cheshivas for davening, which in turn would make a difference in their own manner of davening. Such an impression can be life-changing. It is also worthwhile for Rebbeim to take our time to mention the importance of not talking while davening, as well as the negative consequences if one does talk, most notably the idea of me'uvais la yuchal liskain, that once you do something wrong, it's very hard to say to blow back the whistle. Remaining silent during davening is not a minhag, or a chumrah, or midas chasidus. It is an undisputed halacha mufareshes, and some of the examples show the severe consequences of speaking during davening. And it's things that should shake us all up. Many previous presenters have spoken about the halacha in Shulchan Aruch and Siman Kuf Chav Daled, that if a person speaks during davening, he is gadol avonim mitzay. The sin that he carries is much too great. This is quite a harsh term that we don't find anywhere else in the Shulchan Aruch. On that halacha, incidentally, the Mishnah Berurah quotes the Kolba, who says, "Woe to those people who speak during davening, as we have seen many shuls destroyed because of this sin." The Shulchan Aruch Harav, also in Kuf Chav Dalet, quotes the Zoya in Parshas Truma, and says that one who talks while the tzibah is giving shevach to Hashem Yisbarach, during Chazaras HaShatz particularly, is showing that he wants no part in the praising of the Rebbeinu Shalom. And the Magen Avram in Siman Kuf Nun Aleph, says that many of the shuls have been turned into churches due to the fact that talking took place in those shuls during the davening. I saw a couple of other halachas that we have to give out to our children. We must know the Mishnah Berurah brings down a halacha that a person has to hear. I don't know the makar for this, but the Mishnah Berurah says a person has to answer to 100 amenim every day. 100 amenim. If we're talking and we miss out amenim, besides the fact that we're missing the amen and we won't get the 90, it's also gevaldig chil Hashem that we have amen. We're saying this is emes and we're not geiris it. It's a gefährliche chet chas v'shalom. Likewise, if a person comes late to davening, comes in the middle of davening, the Gemara tells us halacha that a person has to be able to present his shevach before he actually does the davening. It says, "Le'olam yagdim adam tefillah l'tzar." We have to be magdim, and the hakdama has to be, as it says in another place in halacha, with shevach first and then the tefillah. If we're going to come late to davening, we're missing out all the shvachos. We're missing out everything we were supposed to say before we went to the actual bakashas to the Rabbi Shalom. How can we continuously do that and expect that our bakashas should be accepted? In these days of El, we're becoming so close to the Yom Noraim. It is a wonderful time to make sure that our Rebbeim show our Talmidim. And it's for nish geschatten if the adults as well take on this inyan before the time of Rosh Hashanah. And we are lemaisa in an eist tzara, Rabbi say. We can't you can't forget that thing. And we don't know what the next year is going to go bring. But if we are mispal properly, that it shouldn't come onto us chas v'shalom any shum tzaris. In that zechus, be'ez Hashem yisbach, will be zoichet hakid v'aksiv v'chsim v'tayva.